Got me?
I got you, sir. I got you. Thank you very much for meeting me. I appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
Can I do a little quick introduction of who you are?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So this man's the founder of the Big Chair Chess Club, located in Washington D.C. and in Hickory, North Carolina. He's also the author of the book From Pawns to Kings, and whose life is based on the movie Life of a King, where he's played by Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr. Mr. Eugene Brown, I'd like to welcome you to Sanderland.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
It's my
Uh,
pleasure, sir.
yes, you're in Canada?
I am in Canada, yeah.
Yes.
I saw your movie on Amazon, and I'm a Cuba Gooding Jr. fan, so I clicked on it and watched it and thought, wow, I got to meet this guy.
So, what were some of the things that impressed you about the movie?
Um, just your life resilience, how you've overcome um, jail. You didn't let that get you down. I know a lot. I know some other guys that have been to jail. They get out, they don't really change. It seemed like you'd completely rehabilitated, and you used chess as a way to do it. And the big thing for me was that you're you're now teaching the next generation. And when I looked into it further as to what you were doing, you've now got programs in the correctional facilities, teaching inmates how they can live their life using chess. So I think it's really neat. And you've taken a board game and applied it one step further into people's lives.
So, and I think that's where my story starts at, as far as how was I able to overcome those pitfalls and those situations. And you went on to say that how I completely rehabilitated myself. But when you use the word rehabilitate, and the re is only a prefix, so actually how I was able to make it back is the fact that I came from a two-parent family,
Right.
and I was habilitated at an early age. I learned good moral values, good principles, and I had that family sense of unity. We went to church together. We went to trips together. We ate as a family. So I learned I was habilitated at home. I got away from that. It's similar to the prodigal son,
Right.
you know, and I got away from those teachings. So when I finally came back to my senses, that's where the rehabilitation occurred.
Gotcha. So you went away for a little bit,
Yeah, I
and then
went
you
away
came
from
back.
what but now is a lot of the generation behind us that don't have that point of reference to come back to anything.
Right.
So this is the gap. This is the missing gap. This is what community-based programs have to serve as that catalyst in between that missing father or that missing information
Right.
for manhood or womanhood. So those were
Excuse me.
some of the main issues that when I really kind of started having the time to set back, especially having jail time. I don't even I call it institution time.
Gotcha.
Because the jail part of it is what you make it. You can make your own jail right out here.
Right.
So you can become, and I think that's the worst incarcerations for you become for you to self incarcerate yourself. you know, from of your habits or whatever that you do that you can't break that cycle
Right.
and go on to be the person. So this is what chess has helped me to do since I have claimed myself as the king of this side of my board. So in a chess game, all other pieces rely on the king.
Right.
to make decisions to move in order to win this game. So this is where the information comes from, even for the game to be played.
Is that
So
where your mantra, always think before you move, comes from?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Even before the touch, they got a rule: you touch, if you touch a piece, you have to move a piece. But what that actually implies is that you've actually thought about where you're going before you go there.
Okay. Okay.
You
You
know,
did an interview on MSNBC a little while ago, actually a number of years ago, where the anchor Tamron Hall asked you if you'd be able to come on down, teach her how to play chess, and you replied, "You're already playing chess right now. Anytime you make decisions, you're playing chess."
yes, and the better decision you make, the more successful you're going to be in life. You
So,
know,
how do you know what a good decision is going to be?
from your point of reference, from the information that you have.
Okay.
Okay, so I know if I'm a lawyer and I've had these cases before. This might be my this may be my theme where I specialize in this area. So, and this is the same on a chessboard. So there's only four possible moves I can make, and as a Sherlock Holmes investigator, I'll do the deduction. And
Right.
just like a multiple choice test, you don't have to be a genius sometimes. All you got to do is look at what don't work.
Common sense.
So so it boils down to uh, making those type of decisions. How do I know that I'm making better decisions? Because I've experienced this so many times, and I'm able to at least stop and give myself an analytical inspection to
Okay.
see if there's where's the strengths and where are the weaknesses. You know,
Okay. You
so
say life.
I'm able to use that. I'm able to use this equation not just in the chessboard, but in making decisions. First of all, I want to find out what the problem is. First of all, identify the problem,
Okay.
and in the analytical inspection, now I got to come up with a solution. So at the end of the game, how am I going to carry this out to checkmate my man? How am I going to carry this out to checkmate my opponent? How am I going to carry this out to checkmate my degree? How am I going to follow this out to checkmate remodeling my bathroom? You
So
know,
and
all
that's
after I go through those, huh?
so and that's how chess is relating to life, right?
That's to me. That's
Yeah.
how I've sold real estate under the same premises, the same foundation. You know, and I use it. Even when I was, on the other side in the life, I used it. And I didn't realize it, but I learned chess at an early age, but I didn't learn it to this degree.
Right.
You know,
You
and
said that you don't win at chess. You don't win or lose at chess. You learn lessons or you teach lessons.
yeah, and when you winning, when you say I won,
Hmm.
that almost puts you at the final. Like like a person say, I'm grown. You know, I heard a guy tell me not long ago he was bored. So I asked him, how can you know being a creator? How I mean, you ran out of things to think about. How can you be bored?
Right.
To me that's you. I mean, you reach the end where ain't nothing you can find that you can do to entertain you.
There's lots to entertain a person, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, when I hear it, I had to kind of I didn't reply to it like, but I kind of you know looked at myself as far as that was his move, and I analyzed his move as to see. how could I be bored? I mean, I'm just looking at in the conversation. I
Right.
just I just happen to recognize him saying that as his move. Now, years ago, I would have replied, "I am too."
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah, see, but now I know better,
Yeah.
you know. But I was able to sit back and just watch his move. I mean, he has a right, and I mean, that's how he felt. A person has a right to feel. But if you don't understand it, and that's think that's what chess had made me to come to the understanding of how life moves. And
Interesting.
mm-hmm.
Is That's interesting. Interesting to hear. It's like you said life, chess is like life. It's got three stages. It's got your opening, your middle, and your end game.
Absolutely. Now
Right.
I'll tell you what makes a kid a genius, and you're finding it a lot, not so much in our culture, and which I try. You see, it perks out, but it's not as prevalent as and I happen to come from as a young kid. We lived in a neighborhood that was not far from the District of Columbia in
Okay.
Washington D.C. We lived across on the Maryland line. In D.C., there's an Eastern Avenue, there's a Southern Avenue, and I think there's a Western Avenue. And anytime you had those avenues, you're right on the other side of Maryland and D.C.
Okay.
I was living on the other side, about a block from D.C. And this community was considered a third world. We were living pretty good, but you know, uh, but there were people in our community that had to drink water from wells and didn't have indoor toilets.
I saw
Yeah.
that on the TED Talk.
So,
Yeah.
but what happened for us was the fact that my mother and father worked in the government, but my father used to play the numbers, which was at that time what they call now the lottery,
Okay.
and he hit a big number, and that's how we were able to move to a community. You know,
Okay.
a, a, I wouldn't say middle class. I would just say, you know, it was probably middle class then
Okay.
too. But anyway, the school that I went to make a long story short, just to show you how the end game is, it was kids in that community. David Corn, he doing, and we were close. I mean, we played together, and and we did a lot together as far as school. Went to his house, he went to my house. But anyway, on the weekend, he had to work in the drugstore,
Okay.
and he was on the cash register as a kid. So to bring it all the way forward, years later, he ended up running the drugstore. He had a pharmacist license, and when his father passed away, he took over the business. The point I'm making is he saw his end game when he was in the opening.
Gotcha. Some people are able to some people are able to see that. Or did he see it, or did it just happen that way? Like, did
No,
he know that was his end game?
no, that was his. He was stair stepped into it. He was in that corridor where that was expected. That was his expectancy for him to take that position.
Okay.
That was he was trained to do that. You see,
Gotcha.
yeah, and see, so when you look at even it doesn't even have to be a drugstore. It could be the fact that some kids they know right away they're going to college at 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
They know this. They know their parents are saving for it. They're preparing them for it. You know, before they get there.
What do you say to those kids that don't know that don't know what their next step is? I know for me, I didn't know what my next step was outside of school.
Well, those are. I mean, we are the fortunate ones because a lot of people. That's how mass incarceration starts. You know, when they don't have that, when they don't have that information, when they don't have that point of reference, when they don't have that leader in their life,
Right.
someone because of, you know, we experience a lot of in the subculture. You know, we talk about different cultures,
Right.
but when you speak about the subculture from where we came from, is below all other cultures.
Okay.
You know, so you had a glimpse of it. You said you lived in public housing.
Yeah, I grew up in public housing
Yeah,
in
so you,
Winnipeg.
I mean, so you had a glimpse of what a subculture is, and it would surprise some people that you even made it out of that if it was like some of the neighborhoods that we came up in because of your environment, what you hear, what you see, what you're exposed to.
Yeah.
You got a lot of kids now that's just in elementary school have seen more than their teachers have seen.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't know if it was so much I knew what my end game was. It was more like I knew I didn't want to be there and I knew there was more to the world. I thank TV for that.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah. So and so this is why and getting back to chess said I could go in the classroom,
yeah.
a disruptive classroom. The teacher, is maybe boisterous, and the kids might be, kind of unruly. I can go in there and won't say a word and set up a chessboard, and they'll start coming around me.
Just to check it out.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
And what happens from that point is what? That's the opening. That's the opening. What's my next? I already know I have to start giving them some information. I have to. And one of the first things I can ask is, how many of y'all know what this game is? Everybody raised their hand, or a few of them. And then I can ask someone. I said, well, what's the name of this game? And he'll be looking for everybody else to tell him. Then I could ask, how many people know how to play this game? And you'll see some more hands. Then I'll start asking, say, well, what's the name of this piece? And they'll start, I use, I said, oh, but what I try to teach from that point is the best way to learn something is for how many people said they didn't know? I said, these are the smartest people in here
Yeah.
because they're making room to learn. Some of y'all have to make room to learn something. You know. Then I asked them, like, how many songs do you know how to sing? You know any rap song? They say, and then I try to make them sing it then, and then they'll back out.
Okay.
I said, no, you said it. So we get, you know, because I know that's the type of, you have to put yourself where I've been there,
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that I pride myself in. Even teachers with PhD degrees haven't been able to make that point of contact with kids that
Yeah.
they've almost gave up on and ready to put them on medication
Yeah.
because they don't have that link. It's not that the kid can't learn. It's sometimes the teacher can't teach.
That's true.
So
Or
chess has been a backdoor approach for education that I use because once you can quiet the mind, because you can imagine what a kid, especially in these communities that I come from, you can imagine what's going through their head. You got a kids that they hear it, they don't know whether they're gonna get put out. They don't know. They seen their mama get beat up. They got a lot on their mind.
if you don't mind me asking, speaking of kids, in the movie, there's a character, Tahim. Do you mind me asking whatever happened to him?
Well, his story. I have a kid right now that almost looked like him. This is would have been his story. He's getting ready to graduate from Maryland University, and we
Fantastic.
started in the first grade. So him and I was talking this morning because I told him when he was in the third and fourth grade, and this is nothing but the creator, and I know it, and we spoke about it. I told this kid in the third or fourth grade is how would you like one day to put on your job description a chess instructor?
Cool.
And he raised the hand. He was in the third grade.
So you've
He
known
got
him
a
since the
job.
third. Sorry, you've known
Huh?
him since the third grade, and you up to high
I've
school.
known him since the third grade. I have pictures of him all the way through. And if there is I did you never saw the ABC up close commercial I did.
No.
Actually, that's where the movie came from. I did an ABC up close commercial. I mean, not a commercial, but a, a, a what is it? A nightline interview.
Okay.
And he was in the chess house. So I mean, through elementary, through the Boy Scouts, I've just been in his life, and now he's getting ready to graduate. But and so he got a job, and how 4 or 5 other people are interviewing for a job.
Yeah.
And he said, Mr. Brown, they chose me. I got the job. I got the job. I said, yeah. He said, guess how I got it? I said, how is that one? Now, I, and I just had another thought. You may want to interview him if you want to, get your next interview.
I will. What's his name?
Wendell Brown.
Wendell Brown.
Yeah, he's not my related son. But anyway, so how did he get this job? I said, how did you get the job? He was telling me. He said, you know how I got it? I said, on my resume. I said, yeah. He said, I put chess instructor, which he does. He does. He have kids that he even trained himself.
Cool.
I said, chess. He said, you know what? I remember you told me that years ago. He said, ain't that something? So we at this we to this junction now where we have seen it manifest. I have 2 or 3 other kids that had the same testimony. So this is going to be on my. I'm releasing a beginners basic chess program on virtual.
Okay.
So you'll be able to, I'm working with a company called Active Network that we're going to be releasing this probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
And so he's going to be featured in, some of the success stories, some of the testimonies.
Is there a website that the virtual training will be available on?
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be available on from pawns to kings and queens.com.
Oh, okay. Okay.
From pawns to kings and queens.com.
Okay.
So we didn't want to miss a girl. We have it going from pawns to kings.
Yeah.
And a young lady, so she said, what about the queen? She had her hair wrapped up in turban. I said, you know what? Thank you. Yeah. So we don't want to miss the queen. But that statement in itself is so germinating, is so metamorphous when you look at, and that was my transformation from a pawn to a king. But the most devastating thing about the whole journey was the fact that even when I was a pawn, I thought I was a king, but I was being
yes.
manipulated. I was being manipulated. I never, even while, and I was given honor to the person that was manipulating me.
That was another big thing I picked up in that movie as well.
Yeah. So, so just using it as a metaphor, it's been a really, it keeps me focused. It keeps me on track. I know when I'm getting out of bounds. And,
right.
And back to if there's 3 or 4 basic moves, and that the fourth and the fifth one, and this, after you break it all the way down, and here's what I really gauge myself with. and I know that's the worst move, and I make it anyway, something's wrong. You know, I mean, nowadays you can't afford to make bad moves, and you know they bad moves. You know, so
Yeah.
those are some of the things I had to list it as to when I do an analytical introspection, not just on the chessboard, but in everyday life. You know, is the risk worth the reward? You
Got
know,
you.
so you know, uh,
I don't think there's enough of that happens. I think there's a lot of just doing it, and sometimes just doing it is the best way to learn, but sometimes people aren't analyzing what the potential outcome or consequences of their actions could be.
yeah. Well, and I go back to the end game because they don't play it all the way through.
Right.
You know, and that's what they call variations in chess. Is you know, you can look at one it could go this way, or it could go this way, or it could even go this way.
Right.
But the you know, just incrementally, if there's no other move, if you could just get that incremental advance, or just sometimes, just like they say, if I could just chill in this position to see what's going on, you know, I don't always have to attack.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, if I could just chill in this and see if I can work out another strategy. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are under now. You know, this is where they're at. This is what they're baffling with now. With you know, I was telling the guy today that, you know, he, he, I told him that 19 took 20 out, didn't it? Said 19, but you find a lot of people that's caught up in 19 and having to deal with, you know, 2020.
Right.
They're finding that they really have to, they're you know, I'm saying to myself, they really have to be, you know, kind of imaginative as to dealing with situations as they are.
Right.
Now, I'm handling it because I've been incarcerated,
Yeah.
so I kind of know, you know. I mean, this when I break this back to an incarceration, I got, you know, I can go out, I can come back, I can do a lot of things,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't have. You know, they build themselves into a habit of going and coming, going. They already got to go somewhere,
Right.
and it's kind of, you know, breaking that habit down. But you know, I'm just saying, hey, but they call this a waiting move in chess. And you know, in chess literature, when you might get to this point, they say, well, just make a waiting move. You know, ain't
Okay.
nothing happening over here, nothing happening over there. I think in the street vernacular, they just say, hey, we're just going to chill for a minute.
Okay. How long have you been out of incarceration now?
And ever since I started understanding what freedom is, I mean, you can come home, but if you, a lot of times that post dramatic incarceration, it hurts a lot of people. But I think my last tour was in '91.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere back in the '90s. Yeah.
So you've been out for a while now. And how many people would you say you've helped with chess over the years?
I'm going on my 30th year.
Yeah. Right on.
So I mean, I've been to schools, prisons, fire departments, police departments, tennis courts. I've had Arthur Fitzgerald Tennis Center in Washington D.C., the Southeast Tennis Center on Mississippi Avenue. I taught chess there with a proposal to go in to get them to understand what's the difference between tactics and strategies.
Right.
Learning chess to help their thinking in a tournament. You know, what if you playing somebody that has the equal strength that you have, that's hitting the ball as hard as you? You know, that's same in chess. If you see a good move, I play tennis. In chess, they have a saying: if you see a good move, at least look around and see if there's a better one.
Right.
So if I'm playing an opponent with, and I find out that he has a weak backhand, how do I exploit it?
Right.
I exploit it by hitting to it whenever I need a point to win. I don't win. If I keep hitting it to him, it'll strengthen it.
Right.
So I know that's going to be a weakness. So those are one of the things I find out right when I'm doing when I'm doing my inventory in the game. I'm finding out where the weaknesses are. So I was able to tout my program under the think before you move. It ain't just always I have programs that I just use chess as a demo.
I see how you're playing all this now. This is
Yeah,
really neat.
I just use chess as a demo.
Yeah.
So it goes it goes a lot further.
Well, I must say you are definitely the epitome of a person that is giving back. And just helping people in general. That's one of the things. That's one of the things this podcast is about. Is just a lot of people look towards celebrities. They look towards athletes, professional athletes, as some form of inspiration, and sometimes it's just the guy whose life is based on a movie, right? That's got just the most interesting story, and you really just have to look to that for any sort of inspiration. And my hat's off to you, sir. I think what you've done is with people is just amazing.
Yeah, it's I tell you, it's a calling. It's not an avocation. It's not a vocation. It's an avocation because
Yeah.
it had just got to the point where you just can't put money with everything.
Yeah.
And I think I was fortunate enough to even when I was in the life, when I was probably on the other side, I was living real good. I mean, it was, I would call myself probably an elite uh, of my lower self, right?
Gotcha.
But
Been
anyway,
there.
I was exposed to a lot. So it's not just like, a lot of times when you don't have a lot when you came up.
Yeah.
When I was 17, I had a car. I had a brand new car at 17. I had a barber's license. I worked in a barber shop. You need to get my book. You'll get everything out. All that's in the book.
Actually, I knew you were a barber from your TED Talk. What I gathered, you were the youngest licensed barber in DC.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
neat.
that happened from having a father in the house, even though he was an abusive alcoholic
Yeah.
and a lot of trauma we had to learn how to work through. As well, a lot of people in the communities like similar that we came out of. Those things happen, but you work through them. But he asked me one day, what did I want to be when I grew up? And I told him a barber. He said, a barber. He said, man, that's a good job. Anyway, he brought a barber's kit home and asked me to cut his hair. I said, man, I don't. He said, no. He showed me the blades to use and everything, put the gown on him, and I cut his hair. And he looked at me and said, boy, you can cut hair. He said, if I was you, I would I would cut all my friends' hair. I would make them my customers. And I did. And I ended up going to a vocational high school
Okay.
but what really got my license was that through all the other years in junior high school, I was getting D's and C's and I wasn't even trying, but to pass a barber's license, you had to know the anatomy of the body, of the head. You had to know the nervous system. You had to study this stuff, man. I mean, the lymphatic system,
Right.
the central, you had to know the neuron. You had to know a lot.
You still cut hair now every now and then?
Uh, I still know how.
Yeah. Everybody likes
So,
being bald now, though.
yeah. But what happened was, what really got me was my father would never let me drive his car.
Okay.
And I was pestering him. He said, I'll tell you what, if you get your barber's license, I'll sign for your car. Now, all of those attention spans I used to get, I had poor attention spans, and the teacher said was getting all bad comments about they thought I would never learn, and it just had me figured. When my father told me that he would sign for a new car, if I got my barber's license, I took that book home. That's why I'm still able to remember just about the reticular activating system. I can remember all of it. I mean, I learned that book backwards and forwards and passed the test,
Fantastic.
you know. But that just goes to show you. And the startling statement of the whole issue was the fact that I might have messed his head up, but he gave me the confidence, he gave me the courage, he gave me the approval from a father that I could do something.
That's important. That's important. Speaking from experience, I've got a
Well, this is the
23-year-old
type of
son. That's
family that I
important.
came. This was the type of family that I came out of.
Yeah.
So that's why I endeavored to. And my mother and father were always people that helped people in the community.
Right.
You know, they would always, people would come to them and borrow money. It was all we had an open door. So I came up around, my father, both of my grandparents on both sides were preachers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, you know, uh, it's just, we were fortunate to have, for me to come from a two-parent family with a positive self-image.
That's important to have those role models growing up. We're just about coming up to the end of the show here. Eugene, where can people find you online?
Well, they can go to my website, chessmaneugenebrown.com.
Okay.
They can email me at chessmaneugene@gmail.com.
Okay.
I'm on social media. They can go from pawns to kings and queens on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm Eugene Brown on Facebook.
And you still have bigchairchessclub.org, right?
And I just still have bigchairchessclub.org. And I'm going to tell you what the Big Chair Chess Club is all about when I close in closing.
Yes, sir.
This is the poem about the Big Chair Chess Club that a brother in DC gave it to me when he first heard Always Think Before You Move. And he's one of the head poets in DC. But when he gave this to me, I was able to put it down in memory because it mimicked our club. And it goes like this. This is the story of a chess club founded for inner city youth. It's different from most, it's distinguishing boast of not just teaching chess but truth. It teaches young children to reason, to rationalize, to use good sense and intelligence against deception, treachery, and lies. So at the Big Chair Chess Club, we're on a mission to save the lives of our children, to teach the unteachable, reach the unreachable, and always think before you move.
Fantastic. Eugene, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to getting your book, and I hope we can have a talk again sometime, and maybe when the borders open up, we can actually get to meet.
I look forward to that. I have your email. If you want to speak with that young brother to try to get him,
yes, sir.
I'll notify him.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay, peace and blessings.
You too, sir. Have a great day. Take care. Thanks again.